A journey is defined as a gradual passing from one state to another, regarded as more advanced from innocence to mature awareness. In today's society, people tend to go through life focusing on the simple things that makes them happy, like family, friends, helping others, and even their jobs.
I love the outdoors, working with the horses, the cows, the chickens, the hogs. My favorite place for reading is at the fish pond out back, and I'm just ready to do some of those things.
Not thinking their life could change drastically in a blink of an eye.
I got the big C. The big C. They say that I have breast cancer.
According to the American Cancer Society, an estimated 230,480 new cases of invasive breast cancer will occur in 2011, and more than 57,000 cases of ductal carcinoma in situ breast cancer will be diagnosed in women. It was just another routine breast checkup for Brenda Hawkins. With no family history of cancer, she never thought something like this would happen.
I always check myself because I always get my physicals every year. Have been doing it religiously for 20 years. But in 2002, I noticed after one of my breast self-exams during a shower, there was a hard lump in my right breast. So I kept feeling the hardness. It's as hard as a rock. And it wasn't getting any bigger, but it was just there, and it nagged at me. So I went in May like I normally do for my physical, and my doctor, after examining me, said, "Oh, it's nothing."
Many people think of breast cancer as a disease that only older people can get, but that's not the case. Although there are a small percent of breast cancer in young people, it can still happen. Janice Phillips, another woman who was a victim of stage 1 breast cancer, had a breast reduction in 1994 and feels that may have saved her life.
I had my first mammogram at 35. I was having mammograms. They had suggested at 35 that my next one be at the age of 40. And after 40, I had mammograms every year. And all of my mammograms were normal up until 2007. But I had a breast reduction surgery in 1994, and the reason for that surgery was large breasts that were causing a lot of back pain, and eventually, if I had not had that particular surgery, it was determined that by the time I would be age 55 that I would begin to have a curved spine.
According to the American Cancer Society, women should have a yearly mammogram in order to reduce the chances of disease.
After the biopsy in 2007, I never wanted to be delayed in my mammograms again because of that concern of this spot. I went on February 24th and I waited, and they said, "We will get back with you." So I received a call the following week informing me that they wanted to come back in to take some more pictures, and that raised a concern for me because that was a first. And I immediately thought, oh my God, what do they need pictures for? There's no history of cancer on my family on either side. I don't know of any family member that we lost to death due to cancer. So when I went back for the pictures, I noticed that it was an unusually long wait for me. The doctor was going to come out to see me. She came out and said, "Ms. Phillips, we're going to do another biopsy." She said, "This foreign object now has grown, and it is about the size of your thumbnail." And it looks cancerous.
I went back to my OBGYN that January, and she says, I'm just really tired of you asking me about this lump. I'm going to refer you to a surgeon, my friend who's a surgeon. I said, okay, fine. Sure enough, she did.
But Brenda was not prepared for what was next.
Once I got in the room with him, he said, I see here you have a lump. You have a problem that we need to look at. And I said, yes. He said, well, we're going to do a biopsy. We're going to do it today. And he said, I'm going to numb you up real good. I said, okay, you don't need anybody to drive you home. You don't have to have it. You'll be fine. So as scared as I was, he started the procedure. I kept my eyes closed during the entire exam. And as he was proceeding, he said, when you hear this noise, that'll be me getting the tissue that I need. It sounded like a stapler. So once he started, he said, that's the sound you'll hear. And he did that about 9 or 10 times. My eyes are still closed during this. After that, I heard him say, get it, get it, get it. And I didn't know what was being got, but anyway, he said, okay, you can open your eyes now. Well, when I opened my eyes, blood was splattered all on the walls, all on the floor, all on the tray that he was working on. And when he told the nurse to get it, it meant for her to get a swab to stop the blood from shooting out like it was.
Statistics from Susan G. Komen states that a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer every 3 minutes.
I was on my way to a doctor's appointment the following Monday, and I received a phone call from my doctor. I just remember her saying that it was cancerous. How could I go home and tell my husband that I had breast cancer?
At the time, I thought all I saw was death. And I thought about my mother who had died in 2001. And it was just death. That's all I could see was the graveyard. That's all I could see. I thought about my kids. I thought about, I just thought about death. That was it. I just knew I was going to die.
Being diagnosed with breast cancer can bring out many devastating thoughts and feelings. Hearing the words, "you have cancer," changes your life forever. For most people, it is the start of a long and often difficult journey.
I don't know why, but even as a young woman, my 2 greatest fears in life was being raped and breast cancer. I just, all my life felt like those were 2 of the most horrible things that can happen to a woman. And I remember saying, oh my God, it's me now. I walked in the house and I sat down and I just cried. I knew he was working out back in the field. I called C on his cell phone and I asked him to come in the house. And he came in and I remember he sat there. It was like he went lifeless and he said, oh Jesus, oh Jesus. And he came over and he gave me a hug and he just let me cry. I just cried for about 2 hours because the very thing that I never wanted to happen to me had happened. And I looked at my papers, they had printed them out for me. And I said, CW, that's my name, my address, that's my cell phone number. And underneath it says breast cancer. And he just looked at me and he said it again with such confidence. Baby, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. And he asked me, did I believe that? And I said, yes. And so I sat there. Oh God. Because at this point, not knowing about a partial, not knowing the size, I didn't know how much of my left breast would be removed. And all I could think about was, oh God, am I going to look deformed? Am I going to have reconstruction? All of that is running through your mind.
After seeing inspirational church bulletins and being greeted with warm hellos at the hospital and a complete stranger witnessing to her about God, Brenda decided to accept the things she could not change and knew that her faith in God, everything would be all right.
After the sign from the church, the people in the hospital, I'm getting ready for surgery. I see this gentleman and he's talking about God and how I'm going to be fine. All my worries were just gone.
Facing a cancer diagnosis can be a lonely experience. Some people may even feel like no one can understand what they are going through.
My surgery was a little more involved because of the location. It was near the milk glands and the breast ducts for the flow, and they wanted to remove lymph nodes, so they removed 6. And I'm fortunate that I healed very well, but that surgery was very painful. I did not start my treatment until 6 weeks after that because I was very limited with my movement, showers. I slept in a chair, my recliner, for the first 3 weeks, propped with pillows. It's not so much that I had trouble lying down, it's to get up. The pull was so painful.
By definition, a spouse generally refers to a partner in a marriage. After going through surgery, chemo, and losing her hair, Brenda realized that her husband was in it for the long haul.
It really wasn't until I got sick with this breast cancer that I really understood how much he loves me. It was him that was saying, let's do it now. It was him that was pushing. He went to every appointment with me. If they called just abruptly, he was here. He stayed home with me for 3 weeks after the surgery. But he was there just attentively, never seen that part. And I owe a lot to him. I just love him more for it.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2007, more than 40,000 women in the United States died from breast cancer.
My friends were dying around me like flies. And then he allowed me to live. And I told him that if he allowed me to live, that I would be one voice that would let people know about early detection.
I went to church and I walked in, and as soon as I walked in the door, not having told anyone at church, Minister Taylor said, "Woman of God, you shall live and not die." And I just went, oh my God. It was confirmation, and it was like my fear was gone. I said, oh my God, you don't even know what's going on, but thank you. And I received that.
To save a life, early detection is key. The American Cancer Society recommends breast self-exams, schedule yearly mammograms, and most importantly, know what your breasts should look and feel like. According to breastcancer.org, in 2010, there were more than 2.5 million breast cancer survivors in the U.S. Ebony Steele, co-host of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, breast cancer survivor, and Susan G. Komen, ambassador, says putting the word out helped her cope.
Crystal King, who works with Susan G. Komen, Circle of Promise, which is the African-American arm of Susan G. Komen, came to the station with a basket, held my hand, looked at me. We sat and probably talked for 3 hours. She was diagnosed at 25. She went to the doctor because she had a cough, and she thought she had, some type of, like a cold in here. Well, when it wouldn't go away, further x-rays showed that it was breast cancer. So just imagine if that cold had not existed. Just imagine if that one night lazy watching TV, I hadn't been scratching and found something. So that's how I became involved. And it's one of the best things I could have done, because it's a friend that has held my hand to let me know that there are other people out there like me, and let's talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's find a cure. Let's get the word out. Let's let people know it's not an old white woman's disease. It's not an old black woman's disease. It's not just a woman's disease.
Now looking back on this journey, each woman truly knows what it means to survive.
A survivor is any person, being, spirit, caretaker, caregiver that helps someone to get through this vicious disease that we need to bring to an end.
Surviving means giving back and living life to the fullest, doing those things that are positive to enrich your life.
A survivor is one who has, no matter what the situation is, who has overcome the battle.